Hello and welcome to Rise and Unwind. I'm AV. Each week, we connect with people all over the country to spotlight things you can check out right in your own neighborhood. On this week's show, we've got a little bit of everything, such as this.
We are aging like fine wine and doing more things than ever before with our kids and the family and work, and often spending more time on screens. And a lot of us are suffering from dry eye.
When you have that combined with social media that is completely I say unregulated, but unwatched by anybody else.
All that and more right here on Rise and Unwind.
So what happens when law enforcement uncovers a plot bigger than anyone ever imagined? Well, that's the premise of Countdown, Prime Video's edge-of-your-seat action series. Two of the stars join us today. That's Elliot and Willie, Latukefu, who are here to give us a behind-the-scenes look towards the explosive finale. Welcome, Elliot and Willie. How are you two?
Hey, thank you, good. Good, man. Good. How are you?
I've been doing okay. I've been checking out the show, and it moves fast, and it keeps viewers hooked. What was it about Countdown that made you both want to be part of it?
I'll go first. A combination of things. There was, one, an opportunity to work in this genre, to being able to work in Los Angeles, which is great, and three, we'd just come off the back of a strike, so every bit helps.
Yeah, exactly. And also, to work with Derek Haas, he has such an amazing track record of the shows that he's made, and there is a really beautiful element of this show that's like, honoring those classic fun action movies and that whole genre. To do that in TV in sort of a new age and for a new audience is really an honor, and that's been a lot of fun too.
Elliot, your character is caught up in this secret task force. How did you prepare for that role and the intensity that it brings?
I think focusing on the stakes, what the real world stakes would be with what the task force are focused on. This is a deadly threat to the city of Los Angeles that could wipe it off of the map. It's something that should be unbelievable, but there are people in real life who have to consider those consequences. And so I think making sure that as the character, he's focused on making sure that does not happen, but also there is fun to be had, and you still have to be a person to do that job. It can't be dire all the time. So finding that balance of dire stakes, but also explosive fun as you go along has really made for an incredible ride, and hopefully one that translates on screen for everyone to enjoy as well.
Willie, you've had such a wide range of roles from Young Rock to Black Adam. What stands out about your experience on Countdown?
Oh man, we had so much fun making this show, and especially given the genre, it's things can get a little intense, on the show, but it didn't feel like that at all for this. And working with this team has been amazing. Being able to work in LA, I live in LA now, and it really has been a dream come true. I'm sure Elliot will echo the same sentiment. In terms of, I've never been in a cop show like this, an American cop show, which was always fun. It's always kind of been on my bucket list to tick off, and hopefully we can continue to do that for years to come, because we've had a ball making it, and I think the show's great.
And the cast, it includes some big names like Jensen Ackles and Eric Dane. What's it been like collaborating with them on set?
Jensen's amazing and a great leader for our team. He brings not just such skill to the role, and he really is Mark Meacham in so many ways, which is so fun to watch him play out, but also he's led the fun and the camaraderie that we have on set. He's made sure that we all know how lucky and grateful we are to be doing this, and to make sure we enjoy every moment. And honestly, even like Eric, he has a much more somber role in the show, but he brings his own personality and element of fun to work as well. And it really adds to the joy we get from doing this job. And then I think the product on screen is clear. This is a group of very, very talented people, and especially the big stars amongst that too. It's amazing to get to share in that with them.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey, I want to thank you two for hanging out with me today. Catch episodes of Countdown every Wednesday, only on Prime Video. And I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you so much.
Have you ever wondered what it really takes to send technology to the moon and then
make it work once it's there. There's a new documentary called Drive Me to the Moon. It takes viewers behind the scenes of a groundbreaking lunar mission and the collaboration that made it possible. So joining us today is Fabiana Neves, Vice President of Castrol Americas, to talk about the film and why this moment matters for the future of space exploration. Welcome to the show, Fabiana. How are you?
Thank you for having me. All good here today. Thank you.
All right, for our viewers just hearing about it, what is Drive Me to the Moon and what story does the documentary tell?
Drive Me to the Moon is a documentary where you will see everything behind the scenes on what it takes to be in the moon, from the concept to design, to collaboration, to bringing innovation, technology, and all steps towards making sure, hey, we are in the moon again.
And the movie follows the Lunar Voyage 1 mission from early testing to touchdown on the moon. What do you think will surprise people most when they watch it?
Well, the first one is making sure that the collaboration with the private sector and how new innovation has evolved and made it possible for the first time ever be in the lunar South Pole. So that's a pioneer opportunity never done before. And you can see firsthand, right, so on the documentary.
Mission control is also a big part of the story. What makes this operation so unique compared to past lunar missions?
Mission control is the brain behind the machines and truly what monitors, give control, as well as receive the data and insights of everything that is happening from the moment of the launch until the machine is in there, right? So is the brain, is the women behind everything that happens, right? So the ability to monitor, to receive the images, the data, the insights, and then turn this into actions that we can learn and evolve further is definitely the heart and the brain behind everything happening there.
And Castrol has been involved in space exploration for decades. How did that experience shape their role in this mission and making of this film?
For over 7 decades, we have been partnering with NASA since the Apollo mission, worked with the Mars missions, with the rovers, the Opportunity, the Curiosity, the Perseverance rovers, and our technology have evolved and enabled these missions to be successful. Now partnering with Lunar Outpost and the private sector to making sure that we do evolve, that we bring the technology and our lubricants enable those missions to be successful is critical, has been critical for Castrol. We are really, really proud of being partnering and working and evolving with the space industry.
With renewed excitement around lunar exploration right now, how does this mission help set the stage for what's coming next?
Yeah, great question. We are definitely keen to support the goal of finding a sustainable way of having human presence in the moon. This mission was a first step towards that goal, so we are keen to continue partnering and making sure that, hey, we can make this a reality and there is a sustainable way for having human presence in the moon.
So where can our viewers go check out Drive Me to the Moon and maybe get more information?
You can go to our website, castrol.com/drive-me-to-the-moon, and also you can find us on YouTube.
Fabiana Neves, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Some stories don't fade with time, especially when they involve trust, friendship, and betrayal. The new 3-part Hulu docuseries, Friends Like These, The Murder of Skylar Neese, revisits the 2012 disappearance of a West Virginia teenager and the shocking truth that followed. It's a story told through social media, personal interviews, and voices closest to the case. So joining us this morning are director Claire Titley and former FBI agent and polygraph examiner Dr. Rob Ambrosini. Thank you two for being here. How are you?
Thank you. Good. Thank you.
All right, Claire, what stood out to you about this case and what made you feel like it needed to be revisited now, more than a decade later?
I think one of the things that made me that was so kind of shocking about this case when I first kind of looked at it was the fact that it's 2012 and it's quite a unique era in a way for social media, because it was that era where social media was new. It was kind of a new frontier. It was the kind of Wild West though as well. And teenagers were experimenting with it. They were just putting their entire lives online. They didn't have the hindsight that we have now about kind of, what could possibly go wrong. But also it was an era where adults weren't really looking at social media. So nobody was kind of checking up on them. There were no sort of checks and balances. And that makes that generation of teenagers at that kind of time particularly unique. They're almost like the guinea pigs of social media.
And the series used Skylar's own words and social media posts that you said. How did that storytelling change the ways this story unfolds for viewers?
I think it was really important to us to try and give Skylar a voice. We didn't want her to just be a kind of a plot point in a true crime, where she's just the kind of victim and has no voice. We really wanted her to have agency in telling her own story, which is harder than it sounds, obviously when she's gone. But she left behind this incredible sort of archive of tweets, of digital messages, but also her own writing as well. So we worked very closely with her parents to make sure that we could just bring her voice kind of front and center, and that she could at least be a part of telling this story from the inside out. So we interview her friends as well, quite comprehensively, so that we can hear this story from the 16-year-old perspective, including Skylar herself. And
Dr. Ambrosini, you spent 24 years with the FBI. You've conducted thousands of polygraph exams. When you look at this case, what role did interviewing and behavioral analysis play in getting the truth?
Well, interviewing really played a significant role. And long before I became involved in the case, the two young girls, they were interviewed by case agents, state troopers, local police investigators. And during that process, you kind of started seeing this evolution of what really should be fact, right? When things are fact, it doesn't change, right? The truth is the truth, and it's always going to be the truth. But there were indications during these interviews that really did result in kind of like this evolution of their story. And of course, when that happens, the logical investigation is, why is this person changing that story, right? So this case is kind of about the behavior that's exhibited, the ideation, what's going on, what are they thinking, and how are they communicating? And that really speaks to the social media that you have here, which again was kind of in its infancy stage, if you will, compared to what it is now. So really, a lot of it did come down to the really significant interviews that the investigators were doing.
And one of the most unsettling aspects is how normal these friendships appeared on the surface. How does this case reveal about the hidden conflict, especially among teenagers?
I think what we really wanted to do with this series was kind of remind people what it's like to be 16. It's very easy to forget when you become an adult, and put that behind you. But about the fact that when you are that age, your brain behaves in such a way that your friends become much more important than your parents, than your family. Everything is very heightened. Your reasoning is off, if you like. Your idea of consequences, is very different to that of an adult. And when you have that combined with social media that is completely unregulated, but unwatched by anybody else, that's where the kind of combination was kind of so dangerous, really, I think, particularly for that generation who didn't have the hindsight that we have now.
And Claire, after someone watches all 3 episodes, what do you hope stays with them?
I hope people do reflect on their own use of sort of social media, on their children, on their family as well, and remember what it's like to be that age. But also, I hope that they come away from this feeling like they know Skylar, and she would have turned 30 just a few weeks ago. So that's a life that she didn't have. And she should have gone to college. She wanted to be a lawyer. There's all this life that didn't happen. And I'd love for people to come away knowing and remembering Skylar as she was.
Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today. Friends Like These, The Murder of Skylar Neves, with all 3 episodes available to stream now on Hulu. I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Reality TV families come and go, but the Robertsons somehow turned beards, duck calls, and family chaos into a cultural phenomenon. Now they're back with Duck Dynasty, The Revival, following Willie and Korie Robertson as the family grows. The kids start their own lives, and the Duck Commander legacy just keeps evolving. The new season even opens with a tribute to Phil Robertson, while the rest of the clan brings plenty of the humor that fans remember. Joining us now are Willie and Korie Robertson. Great to see you both. It's great to see the Robertson family back on TV. What made this the right time to bring everyone together again?
Well, we kind of looked up and all of our kids were back. After the show ended in 2017, we had a really busy run, so we were ready to take a little break. And then all our kids like scattered and went off to college and got married and all the things. And we looked up one day and all of our kids were here back home. We all live right there together on this little family compound, and our kids all work with us in some capacity up at Duck Commander within the warehouse. And so that would be fun to kind of give the fans a little update into our life and where we are now.
When people first met your family, the kids were a lot younger. Now they're married, raising families, and starting businesses. What's it like watching the next generation step into the legacy?
Oh, man, it's been a blast. Yeah, for sure. We had, I think the main test was, do you want to be back on television? Because our kids had been on it, and so when they decided they would, we knew we didn't ruin them too bad. Well, watch them grow up, and our cast members have gotten way bigger because we have a lot more little kids and also all their spouses. And so, yeah, it's been fun watching kind of what they're going to do in life. And fortunately for us, they all ended up back here in Louisiana. And yeah, it's just been a joy. And then a lot of them have drifted to the office. And so, yeah, it's kind of, it's made for the kind of the next generation to see who's going to take it on. And, you know, I didn't take over Duck Commander until I was 30. Grew up in the business, never saw myself working here. When I was 30, that's when Korie and I came back and actually started working full-time for the company. So they're right about the age to where we were, and we're going to see who's next potentially to jump into the business.
Duck Commander has always been at the center of the show. How has the business changed as the next generation gets involved?
Well, we're still right here in our Duck Commander warehouse. We're still making duck calls right here in West Monroe, Louisiana. But now the family business has expanded quite a bit. Sadie's Live Original, her whole women's ministry is there. John Luke's into coffee. Bella's actually running our store and our museum. Will and Abby are back. Spoiler alert, Will and Abby made back this season. So everybody's right there, but everyone is doing different things.
The premiere includes a tribute to Phil Robertson. What did that mean to honor him in that way?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because the week that the actual new series started, season 1, was the week that Phil actually passed away. And so it was literally a passing of the torch from Phil and that generation down to the next. And so we just thought it'd be awesome to start out season 2 honoring him. And we see some great parts of the show on there. I mean, it's like tons of real moments. And then also we had to kind of make it Robertson, and we had some tributes to Phil, some competitions like we like to do. Just a fun way to remember him, not only for us as a family as we go through the process of healing after he's passed on, but also for all the fans who's watched him for years and have really fallen in love with Phil and what he says. And yeah, to see him start off this show, it really was a tribute to the whole effort of even doing it. I mean, like Korie says, when we did that episode, it just felt like this is why we needed to come back and do the show.
Yeah, it was really special. The most special part to me was having Miss Kay on there. We actually got to sit down with an interview for her, and she got to just reminisce about Phil and what his life meant to her. So it was really, really special. I was nervous for her, but she did so good. And I know that we'll all be glad, our family will be glad to have that moment and that legacy captured.
There's also a sweet moment with Sadie welcoming her baby girl. What's it been like watching the family grow with all these new grandkids?
Yes, you get to see. It was really full circle season because it does start off with the passing of Phil and ends with new life being born. So there was a real passing of the torch in this season. Sadie actually found out she was pregnant the week we started filming season 1. Yeah. And then Kit comes into the world at the end of season 2. So yeah, you just get a lot of real life moments. I think whenever we all sit down as a family to say, like, what do we want this show to be? One of the words that all the kids said was authentic. We wanted to bring people into our lives a little bit, let them see things that we're really going through, the good and the bad, and the fun. There's a lot of fun, and we laugh a lot, but that's kind of what it's all about. It's life.
And actually, since we've gotten through filming, we have had twins now. John Luke and Mary Kate have had twins, which is our 10th and 11th grandchild. So grandchildren. So Corey's getting old. Corey's getting old.
And your family has always mixed humor with deeper conversations about faith and life. Why do you think that resonates with so many viewers?
Yeah, I think, I think our take in life is always tried to be not take ourselves too seriously, and so when you get thrust into the spotlight and the fame, I think you really kind of find out who you are and what you want to be and what you want to promote. And I think it all for us came back to what our core was, which was faith, which is why we even did the show in the first place. Was really just to potentially get the gospel out to more people, to have a bigger platform. And so I remember talking to Phil about that, and Phil was not interested in doing the show at all when we first pitched it to him. And we talked through how it could actually get the gospel out to more people. And we certainly saw that happen, not just through the show and through having a positive show that everybody could watch, but also through the books that have been written, the podcasts that have been done, the movies that have been made, all the things that we felt strongly about to put out there, that we had a passion for. And when you mix that with fun and humor, I think it's just a great combination, because everything is so serious now, and the world's serious and it's tough, and there's problems and politically, and everybody is at each other's throats. And so I think Duck Dynasty was a great show for people to sit down and watch and just kind of take a break and go, let me just smile and laugh and think about more positive things.
When people watch this new season, what do you hope they take away from the Robertson family today?
I think we want people to just see real life and see that, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but we do all come together at the end of the day, around the table. I think that moment of the original Duck Dynasty is still happening for our family. And so it's in this season as well, that moment where we come around the table together. We thank God for what we have. We thank God for our blessings, and we forgive whatever grievances we might have or whatever fights we might have throughout that episode or that week. But I just think that's really important. I think that's what resonated with people the first time around, to see a family that isn't perfect but that loves each other, and to see people who put faith at the center of our lives. And that's who we are. It's what we do. It's what we've continued to do. And we hope that resonates with people.
Yeah, and I hope that they see how important our family is to us, and how much we intentionally pour into our family to keep us together, to share meals together, to share in each other's joys and bursts, but also the struggles and, when you're down. And so that's the importance of family. And that's why we made the show, is actually for other families as well, so that they can have another time to get together, spark a conversation, and just really promote family. And so our family has always stayed together through it all. And so it's so important and vital. And I think this show would hopefully help families get a little smile, but also remember how important family actually is.
I want to thank you two for joining me today. You can catch Duck Dynasty, the revival, on A&E, with new episodes airing Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's also streaming on the A&E app and at anetv.com. Willie, Korie, thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
If you've ever caught yourself holding your phone a little further away just to read it, yeah, you're not alone. It's something a lot of people notice as they get older, and it actually has a name. Dr. Amanda Nanasy is here to break down what's going on and what you can do about it. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Avi.
Now, a lot of people do that arm's length thing with their phone. What's actually happening there?
So first off, I have to tell you, it is completely normal. Like you said, it happens when we have around 40 birthdays. There is a lens on the inside of your eye that has been focusing like a camera your whole life, and you didn't realize it was happening. And then it gets less flexible. So our distance vision typically isn't affected. But like you said, all of a sudden we have to pull things farther and farther and farther away, or people that already wear glasses might find themselves picking them up to see, buying over-the-counter readers, stealing their spouse's glasses, using a cell phone light. It's super annoying and impacts your life, and we want your viewers to know there's a way to avoid all those problems.
Growing up, I remember my grandparents going to the grocery store, and their solution was to grab those glasses that are at the store. Now, is that really a long-term solution?
I don't love it as a long-term solution. And I think most of my patients don't love it either. And they end up with a pair in their purse and in their car and on their head. And they end up kind of tethered to them to where it's almost like your car keys. Like, you need them, but sometimes you just can't find them when you need them. And if you were to go see an eye care provider, which is what we're really hoping that your viewers are going to do, they're going to be able to give you some custom tailored solutions. Some of my favorites are ones that weren't even around when our grandparents needed glasses, like multifocal contact lenses. So for those people that never needed glasses at all before, they can stay glasses free. And for people that are trying to get used to the new progressive lenses, the no-line bifocals, and they're having a hard time, this is also a great solution for them.
Well, it seems to hit around the time where we're aging like fine wine. How does it connect to other vision changes people notice?
Yeah, like you said, we are aging like fine wine and doing more things than ever before with our kids and the family and work, and often spending more time on screens. And a lot of us are suffering from dry eye, right? If you feel like your eyes are sandy or gritty, they just feel more fatigued at the end of the day. These are all things that could be linked together. So again, that's where you go to a contact lens like Dailies Total One Multifocal. I prescribe a lot for my patients. It approaches 100% water at the surface. So they wear it, they feel nothing, and it can give them the relief as well as help them see up close and far away. And I'm knocking out 2 problems at once.
That's awesome. So let's talk about an eye exam, because that feels like where we should be going. But what should I expect during that eye exam?
You should expect that your doctor is going to give you custom tailored visual solutions, like we were talking about, avoiding those readers and finding something else that works better for you, so you don't have to think about what you're doing during the day. You just automatically can see beautifully. And they're going to check the health of your eyes. So there are a lot of things, unfortunately, that you just don't have any symptoms of until it's too late, like glaucoma. And besides eye conditions, there are also systemic overall health conditions that we can see signs of by looking at all of the blood vessels in the back of the eye. High blood pressure, diabetes. These are things that, again, you hope that your patients are having a regular eye exam every year. But sometimes when you see them for the first time, they're also not seeing their primary care doctor like they should. So we can also point them in the direction if they need other types of help.
A lot of great, helpful information you just gave us, but where can people go to learn more?
Check out myalcon.com/consumer. You can find information about presbyopia and the contact lenses that we talked about, as well as, most importantly, find an eye care provider near you if you don't already have one, because this presbyopia thing is going to happen no matter what, but it doesn't have to have a negative impact on your life anymore.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nanasy. And it's funny because the end of your last name says C, and that's
it
what
works
we're
out
talking
perfectly.
about.
Yes.
Yeah. Have a good day.
You too.
That's it for this week's Rise Unwind. I'm AV. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you want to keep up with the show, then you can find us on social media. Just search Rise Unwind on IG or Facebook. We've also got YouTube at Rise Unwind. You can find everything in one place at riseunwindtv.com. Thanks again for watching, and we'll talk at you soon.